As I sit here with my heart aching and my mind racing, tears running down my face, questions filling my mind to capacity. How could he do this to me? How could someone that claims they love and adore me do me so fucking wrong? How because I thought I could heal your brokenness with my love. I'm staring into the last picture that I have in my phone that I could even recognize myself. My eyes so full of life and joy. My own dreams were coming to life every step that I took. But now look at me. When I met this man, baby, I was fine. I was 5'5", brown skin, light brown eyes, beautiful white teeth, nice long natural hair. The girl loved a good honey brown sis. My father said they made my eyes sparkle even more. And let's not even talk about the nice little curvy waist. My breasts young and tender and perky. My hips swayed back and forth when I walked. But now look at me. I can't even look in the mirror. All I see is brokenness and desperation. How could I let myself get to this point? My once brown cocoa butter skin, smooth as could be, is all black and blue. My brown eyes sparkling in a whole nother way. The residue from the backside of a man's hand will light your eyes up different. I'm not sure what my teeth look like that much more since the last time I lost the last two. I'm not even going to discuss the amount of hair I've lost. I keep it pulled back in a ponytail now. I guess because it looks a lot less thinner pulled back in a ponytail. Sometimes I love seeing the lingering pieces of highlight that are starting to slowly but surely fade away. It reminds me of who I once was, but who I no longer am. That saddens me, because I didn't think my life would be like this. Really though? Me? I thought I meant more to him than this. I never thought he would put his hands on me. It was just a little argument. I didn't mean to even make him that angry. But God gave me thoughts and emotions too. Opinions too. But maybe I did go a little too far. Every time I breathe, my chest hurts so bad. Why does love have to hurt so bad? Now that I think about it, every man I ever loved has hurt me in some way. But this pain here is just becoming unbearable. It wasn't supposed to be like this for me. I just know it wasn't. Everything started out okay. When I was younger, growing up and stuff, my daddy was never like the Cosby Show type of father. Him and my mother used to go at it about the smallest things. But I never seen him hurt her in front of us. See, look, I grew up in Libertyville. Some run-down, jinky old apartments. But this is home. And we seem pretty normal on the outside. You know, around people and stuff. Like at functions and gatherings. But for me, I could always tell they both were miserable. My daddy would leave home at the weirdest hours of the night. I always knew, because my mother would be up, pacing the floor, angry, crying, then praying, then angry again, girl. It was the same cycle every night. I was literally in an emotional tornado at least 5 nights a week. I didn't understand the full depths of my mother's despair, but I knew I never wanted that for myself. But I guess we don't always get to choose how the chips fall. It was just always my sister and I, running and playing through Libertyville. I'm the youngest of two. Oh yeah, I'm Tanya by the way, but everybody calls me T. Girl, I just celebrated my 30th birthday a couple weeks ago. That's when I lost my 2 teeth, by the way. I would hate to relive the moment to even start to explain what happened, but you get the picture. So yeah, you may be wondering, girl, what is going on here? What is this all about? See, Derek is my fallen chips, but it didn't start that way. We started dating 2.5 years ago. He was my everything, all that I could even imagine. He was polite, caring, dominant, but most of all, dependable. Despite curving him a couple times, that man did not stop pursuing me. He pressed the gas pedal even harder. I thought I was making the right decision, but I definitely question it now, especially when his anger gets the best of him and I become his opponent. I try not to push him to that limit, but somehow we just never seem to avoid it either. I just don't understand. Why? Why does love have to hurt so bad? Sometimes I feel like he's a good man and that he loves me. He does pay our bills and work faithfully every day. But it's just that temper. That makes me afraid of him. I feel like I shouldn't be afraid of somebody I love, right? Or am I crazy? It's crazy how he always tries to make things up to me right after a fight. It's like we're on a delusional roller coaster that I just can't seem to get off. I know I sound delusional, but girl, this is my life. He's my best friend, my only friend. Since a lot of my old friends fell to the wayside, shortly after we became official, they said I was making a huge mistake being with him. Maybe they were right, so I get it. Although nobody sees the good times we've had, I'm not going to lie, I miss my friends. Especially getting pretty and going out with the girls for happy hour and just living life. There isn't a lot of that anymore. I just feel so lonely. My sister and I don't even speak as much anymore. She's more closer with my mother since my parents divorced than I am. Derek says every time she talks, she's always talking down on his manhood and putting false accusations in my head about him. So he preferred that I cut that short to keep the tension down between him and her. She's just being concerned about her little sister. But how can I choose? I wish they could just get along. Because someday, I want to marry him. But he says I have to become a better woman. I've been working on that, but I'm not fully there yet. He told me that he wasn't going to allow his anger to hurt me anymore. That this will be the last time. But he said that last time. I feel like I've given a lot and dealt with a lot for this relationship. Part of me want to trust him, but honestly, I'm scared. I wish we could go back to the old days when I was the apple of his eye. But it seemed like any and everything I do make things worse. But I'm trusting that this pain too will pass. So maybe I should just stop complaining. Derek says I always do that a lot anyway. I love him so much. So I guess if this is what my fallen chips look like, then I'll stick beside him. I'm strong enough to handle this. I have invested too much to turn back now anyway. I've lost too much to lose him too. Tonight was the worst night we've had in a long time. But it started out so well. Dinner, drinks, the works. When we left the restaurant, we stopped for gas. While I went inside to pay for the gas, Derek waited in the car. I guess I stayed too long in the gas station talking with the clerk. But I really enjoyed our conversation. She reminded me so much of my big sister. It was truly a surprise. I didn't want to leave. But reality snapped back in. When I came out to pump the gas, Derek had that look in his eye again. I just knew he was upset. But this time, this was completely different. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up when I seen it. I stood there and stood there, just in utter shock. As I approached the car to pump the gas, something within me told me to run back to the girl in the store and ask for help. But my feet stood frozen to the pavement. I couldn't move. So I just finished pumping the gas and got in the car. The silence in that car though, the silence was so heavy. It was heavy as a graveyard. He said nothing, so I said nothing. Considering he looked at me once as I entered the car, but nothing more, my heart was racing in my chest, beating like the sound of some drums. I could feel it in the pit of my stomach, like knots that I couldn't stop swallowing. To the point I felt like I was about to vomit. But I held it in, because I definitely did not want to make him angry. I knew this time was completely different. I just couldn't shake this feeling, like I was taking my last ride. All I could do was take my phone out and text my mom and sister that I loved them with everything within me. As I watched the messages stay pending, I could feel my soul struggling to hold on to my faith that everything would be okay. Because this time was just different. Realizing that these was how my chips had fallen, the moment we pulled into the driveway, the steps of my destruction seemed to walk closer to me. The gate of the garage sounded like the lowering of a casket. When the engine in his truck came to an end, I could feel my stomach drop again. I began to sweat like somebody was pouring water, but I was the only one asked to target. When he exited the car, to open the passenger door, something within me wanted to lock the door from the inside, but I didn't want to make him even more upset. So I waited anxiously as he approached. The sound of his size 14 Chelsea boot ringing in my ear all the way in the car. It seemed like the whole world had gone silent. Not a squirrel squeaking past or a horn blowing down the street. Nothing. Then he popped the door handle and extended his hand to escort me out the front seat. Then closing the door behind me. Routinely, I waited for him to enter the house. Because since I wasn't allowed to enter doors before him, I knew to just stand to the side and let him enter the king's door, as he called it. I stepped on the first step, then the second. My stomach is in knots. I could barely breathe. I just know something ain't right.